Joined now by 7-footer for the Utah Jazz, Walker Kessler. Walker?
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
happy to be here.
It. What happened in the offseason for you? Because you look entirely different, and maybe that's a little bit to the fact that you added.
I grew a little beard, so no.
Very different.
Yeah, no, this stubble, if you want to call it that. A big part of it was just maturing, obviously physically, but obviously put a lot of work in, on my diet in the weight room, trying to put on weight, around 270 now, so feel a lot stronger, while maintaining the ability to run and be able to move. A lot of work, but, so here I am. But I'm still the same guy, and
of course.
Just look a little different.
How do you actually put on weight? Like, how does that go about?
Yeah,
just eating sloppy steaks?
I mean, no, that's part of it. That's definitely part of it.
All right.
It's basically, my sister is really, into nutrition and diet, and so basically we calculated, on average how many calories I burn, how many calories I need to ingest, and basically you just eat at a surplus. It sounds easier than it really is, but you just eat more calories than you burn. But I burn a lot of calories, obviously, working out, 5 days a week. So it was definitely tough to be able to eat that much. But luckily, I like food a lot. So if the food's good, I'll eat it.
And you really have to focus on it.
Yeah. So I was eating probably, when I was trying to gain weight, I was burning like 4,000 calories on work days. Wednesdays were recovery days. So those were like 3,000, and then weekends I was burning like 3,000 again. So I think on work days I was eating around 5,000 calories or like 5,200 calories, and then on normal days like 4,500.
Oh wow!
So it was a lot of food.
Yeah, and physically, how does that help you when you're out on the floor? You're allowed to take more punishment.
No question.
To be more physical.
Being stronger, being able to take, that first hit in the post, when those guys are trying to bump you off, being able to stay vertical, blocking shots, but more than that, great positioning, being able to rebound through contact and, all that, and just being able to demand a position on the floor to where you're not easily moved, whether that's on the glass or on defense or on offense or whatever. So it's definitely helped.
And you've seen that happen, at least in the early goings of the season.
Yeah, obviously rebounding more than I've had my past 2 years in these first couple games. So definitely feel more confident. Being able to, hang on to basketballs more has definitely helped.
Coach told me that you got into a 3-point contest with your trainers.
Yeah.
And you guys won.
Yeah, we did. I can't remember what the actual contest was, but I know it was Coach and I versus my 2 trainers, and they were up, and Coach was shooting first. It was like a around the world kind of deal, like 2 in a row, or maybe like 3 in a row per spot and back around. And the first trainer went against my coach, and Coach is a great shooter. He was not shooting great.
Oh wow.
He wasn't shooting great that drill, whatever you call it. And so we were down pretty good. Like when he finished, the first one was done and the second one was like halfway done. And I had happened to have been shooting pretty well that day. And Coach rebounded very well, being able to get it out to me quickly. So we actually came back and won on a last second shot, down to the wire. Like they needed one more make, and we beat the spot and beat them. So it was definitely a little poetic. He came down, we won, celebrated a little bit. So talked some smack to
your
the guys.
Trainers.
Yeah, my trainers, exactly. So it definitely felt nice.
What does it say that he's visiting you in the off season?
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. He didn't have to do that, and to come down in his own time, see the space, see all my people, go to dinner, talk about the season. It meant a lot to me.
How has that relationship evolved?
Yeah.
Because your first year was his first year.
Right. So, Coach is an unbelievable coach in that he's not afraid to tell you what you need to hear. He holds you accountable, and I think that for me, I I love the fact that we can be straight up with each other. He'll tell me like, hey, you need to run more. He might use some different words, but still, he gets the point across, and he believes in me, and he expects a lot, but with a lot expected, he pushes you, and it's hard, but the relationship itself is, I trust him, because I know that he's in there with us. He wants what's best for us. He wants us to do well. So it's a great relationship.
You talked a lot about this in the beginning of the season about non-linear growth, right? From year 1 to year 2, and then what you have this year with year 3. How?
Still very early in year 3.
Yeah, still very. I mean, we're basically
right, very beginning,
just at the start.
Right.
There are 82 games in the season, but understanding that everything's not going to go one way. How long did it take you for that to sink in?
It's definitely tough because you want to do great at all times. You work your tail off and you want to be a certain level of excellence and perfection, but you have to learn how to change your perspective on it and understand that, a quote-unquote loss isn't necessarily a loss if you learn something from it. And so understanding there's going to be ups and downs, and understanding that as long as you're learning something, getting better every day, you're not going to feel your best every day. That's just not how it's going to be. But as long as you're learning something every day, then you're gaining something from it. And understanding that, and then understanding that at the end of the day, there's a certain level of gratitude that you have to have and joy in the game that makes everything just a lot easier. I think that, and I know I've said this 800 times, but it's actually how I think, and it's a little naive, but if I were to tell my 7-year-old self, you're in the NBA, it'd be like, wow, like my eyes would light up. I'd be like, that's unbelievable. So keeping that perspective and understanding that you're supposed to have joy in this game and to be thankful for the opportunity that you have, to play among the best basketball players in the world, it's an unreal opportunity.
How did you find that joy back again?
I think, number one, going back to perspective, understanding that, like, wow, if I really were to talk to my 7-year-old self, that would be incredible, hearing that from an older version of myself. But also just understanding that it's a game. You fell in love with this game because you love to compete, you love to win, you love to learn, you love to play. And, keeping that in mind, there's a certain level of joy that you have, whether you lose, win, or whatever. Obviously, no one likes to lose, but playing hard and competing against guys and competing with your teammates, it's a blast.
How was it to get that first win?
Felt really nice. Very, very nice. Obviously, we took our time to celebrate yesterday, but today's a new day, and we got to go into, Milwaukee ready for that game. But we're gonna keep it rolling. But it was definitely nice.
It seemed in the preseason that you were almost shot out of a cannon with the way that you played in the Forum, and Will shouting out that game against Dallas as a highlight for
in the preseason.
Okay. As one that was one of your best rebounding performances. What's gone into the method of grabbing more rebounds, being more physical?
Yeah, a certain part of it is just being more aggressive to the glass, not being, coach likes to use the term reckless, just trying to pursue the ball in any way you can. You're not going to get it every time, but if you pursue it 100% of the time and you get, 75% of the boards, that's still a lot of rebounds. So just having, a tenacity about you, trying to just get every ball you can.
Defense always comes up around you because,
that's
7-footer. That's what you do.
I do. Yeah.
How do you guys go about creating better defense, knowing last year wasn't where you wanted to be?
Yeah.
And it's been an emphasis.
It has been a massive emphasis. I think a lot of it is just growing up, growing together, learning what everyone's tendencies are. But it's also understanding the scheme, going to a game, having discipline about the scheme. And then even when, if you're flying around and running around and playing with, like your hair's on fire, my dad used to say, on defense, you can make mistakes. If you're making mistakes like that's okay. That's not going to hurt you. It's the lack of effort plays that really hurt you. And, against Chicago, we weren't perfect on defensive end, but like we were flying around, we were playing hard, we were playing physical. I think that's a big reason why we won that game. Obviously, our offense, we had a lot of guys scoring a lot of points, but, definitely our defense helped a lot.
Why has it been a point of emphasis?
Because we were bad
Yeah.
at it. We were really bad at it last year. I don't know if we were last in the league, but like perimeter defense, we were last, I think, or contested three-pointer or something like that.
And they showed it in summer league, even,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and we were No, in summer league we were, I think, last in defense. So it's our half-court defense is actually pretty good, but our transition defense just needs to get better. And a lot of that is just communicating, once you get back and run back. So we'll continue to learn. It's early, we're a young team, but we'll continue to learn.
It's weird to say this, but you're one of the older young players.
It's really weird. Yeah, it's really weird.
You've played in the league
I know.
longer.
Besides JC, at least on the Jazz, I'm the longest tenured Jazz player. So it's a little weird. It's definitely a little weird.
How do you go about helping the younger guys and the youth of this team? Because this is who it's going to be.
No, I know. That's so weird because I really am one of the young guys. But, I think me personally, I think the young guys are really, really coachable, and they want to learn and they want to get better. And they're able to listen to advice or listen to their teammates, listen to the coaches, and really apply it to their games. So for me, I try to lead by example, playing hard, running hard, and telling them what worked for me. Obviously I had a decent rookie year, and, telling the guys that are in the rookie year now, how they can make their impact on the floor. It starts with defense, starts with your effort, starts with stuff like that. It's not going to come, at least for me, it didn't come naturally from just shooting a bunch of shots. And I think that's an important, emphasis. I talked to Flip about that, talked to Cody, talked to Isaiah about that. And then for the second year, obviously it's still early, but my second year wasn't obviously as good as I would hope it had been. And so being able to tell the guys that if they go through a slump, it's okay. It's like I've said before, it's not linear, there's going to be ups and downs. But as long as you're learning something and you're getting better and you can feel that, it doesn't matter what it looks like. As long as you're having fun, playing hard, that's all you can control.
Are you taking more of a leadership role in that respect?
Yeah, I definitely think, especially, I like to think that I am a pretty good defender, and I like to think myself as a defensive anchor on this team. And so being able to communicate to guys, especially on the defensive side, what's going on, be able to talk to them, I've definitely tried to take more of a leadership role.
What are you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to this team. I'm looking forward to the young guys. I'm looking forward to playing together. I'm looking forward to getting better together. I think we have a lot of good pieces, and it's only a matter of time.
It's kind of cool that you young pieces are kind of allowed to grow together.
No question.
It's very similar to like old school college basketball where people would stay 4 years.
And it builds chemistry. And
Yeah.
I think I'm really excited about that.